Dear students, today we are going to start a very interesting and a modern topic in artificial intelligence called explainable AI or XAA. So the full unit is, which means the first unit is base for understanding the how AI system become more transparent and trustworthy and ethical. So myself, Mrs. Muthupandishwari from the Department of CSC, and we will explore together why AI should explain its decision. Let's begin with the very first concept, black box model. So what is black box model? Students, imagine you give some data as an input to a system. Say a person's salary, age and the credit score. And the system simply tells you loan rejected. Now, if I ask, why did it reject? You don't know. The system doesn't tell you how it decided. That is called as black box model. So, it is like a sealed box. We can see what goes in and what comes out, but we can't see what happened inside. Okay, let me explain with the diagram. So on the left side, we have input data, for example, income, credit score, or age, like that. It goes inside the black box model. Imagine it's like a big black square. So inside many hidden layers are algorithms to make a decisions, but we can't interrupt them. Okay, then finally on the right side you see the output, okay, or we see the output. So which means it will the result approved or rejected. So the diagram shows input, the black box model, and the output. So in real time example, one more example I have to tell. Think of a chat GPT itself. It gives you answers, but we don't know exactly how it formed the internally. That is called as black box. So why it is a problem? There is a no transparency. So difficult to trust or debug. So risky in the critical domain like a healthcare or finance or law, anything. Imagine a medical AI say patient has a 90% cancer risk but doesn't explain why. So would a doctor trust it? Of course not. That's why we need a explainable AI. So the next slide. So goals of explainable AI. Now, if there is a problem, there must be a solution. That's where XAA comes in. So the main goal of explainable AI are transparency. First point is transparency. So transparency means we want AI to show how it reached a result. For example, so the model should say rejected loan because income less than 20,000 and um, credit code less than 600. So that's why. And then trust meaning when the user understand the reason, they begin to trust the AI system. And the third one is fairness. So fairness means AI should not discriminate the based on the gender, race or region. So XAA help us to detect bias. And then accountability. So accountability, we should not able to identify who or what caused an error, the data, the model or the environment. The last one is performance improvement. So when we understand how the model behaves, we can refine and improve it. So overall explainable AI equal to making AI decision, okay, making AI decision clear, logical and fair. So we'll see the explanation. So let's look at how explainable AI evolved. So the first period 1950s to 1980s, the early AI system were rule based. Say they used if then rules, so easily explainable. And then 1990s to 2010s, the machine learning and the deep learning came. So the models became complex and less interpretable. And then after 2016, US Defense Agency DA or PA started a big project called XAA program, the birth of explainability research. So 2020s to till now, XAA used in healthcare and finance, self-driving cars and the government policies. importance of explainable AI is not only technical, it is also ethical and social. So let's break it down. First one is the understand the decision. So know how and why the model make a decision. And then second one is provide a clear reasoning. So the explain outputs in human understandable format. So third one is identify bias and errors. So the find out the model and treating a certain groups unfairly. Then fourth one is ensure legal and ethical compliance, which means the governments and the organization can check if AI follows the fairness laws. And then last one is improve the human AI collaboration. So which means human plus AI works better than both understand each other. So in the real-time example, imagine a AI system predict the patient is high risk. So with XAI, it will say because blood pressure and sugar levels were above threshold. So now the doctors can trust and verify it. So XAI makes AI decision is visible and responsible. Now let's divide into some real world examples of black box problem because examples make more complex ideas crystal clear. So first example number one, imagine one of you apply an education loan to study abroad. So you submit all your details. So your income, your parents' job type, your credit score. The AI system process it and suddenly the result comes applications rejected. So now here's the problem. Even the loan officer can't explain why it was rejected. Okay. So was it because of income? Was it because of credit history? Or maybe something else entirely? So this creates a trust issue. If the AI can't explain its decision, how will people believe the result is fair? So let me ask you all, would you accept a loan rejection if no one can explain the reason to you? So this is the exact reason we call it a black box. So the process inside is hidden. Have you clear? So we'll see the another example. The example number 2, medical diagnosis system. So now think about this one. An AI model analyzes medical report and says this patient has 90% risk of the heart diseases. So that sounds serious, right? But what if the doctor asks which symptom is driving this? Is it blood pressure, cholesterol, ECG? Result. So, and the AI gives no explanation. Should the doctor start treatment based only on the percentage without knowing why? So, certainly not, because the medicine requires accountability. A wrong prediction can even risk a life. So if you were the doctor, would you trust the AI system blindly? Definitely not. So this lack of explainability stops us from using AI in critical field, especially like a healthcare, unless we can make the system transparent. Okay, we'll see the another example. The final example, facial recognition system. So let's consider a security system. Many airports and government agency, government offices now use an AI to recognize the faces. But research found that the system often misidentify darker skinned individuals because the training data mostly included lighter skinned faces. So this create a hidden bias in the system. So now think carefully. If an AI system wrongly identify someone as a criminal just because of skin tone or ethnicity, so is that acceptable? Dear students, absolutely not. So this is not just a technical issue. It become an ethical and a social issue. So I want you to think, if AI is making such biased decision and we don't know why, how can we trust in law and law enforcement where someone's life and freedom is stake? So in all these cases, there is a common pattern. Input goes into the AI, outputs comes out, but the logic inside invisible to human. So this lack of transparency, previously we saw reduce trust, create a legal and ethical issues, prevent AI from being adapted sensitive fields. So understanding this black box nature is very important, not just technically but morally and socially. So now let's connect the goal we discussed, transparency, fairness and accountability for using the XAA. With the practical example to understand how XAA actually solve the real world problems. So first one, transparency. So transparency is a very important for everything. So imagine you apply for a job in a company that uses AI for hiring. The AI reject your applications. So normally it's a mystery. You don't know why it's what's a reject, and but in explainable AI system it's clearly tell you candidate not selected because work experience is less than 2 years and the test score is below 70%. So this is the transparency. You now understand the reason. So you may not happy with the result, but at least you don't know, at least you know it is a logical, not random. So this is how transparency build the trust between humans and the AI system. The second problem is fairness, removing bias and AI decision. Now let's look at fairness. Suppose an AI loan approval system include gender or race as a part of its decision making. That means the system might prefer one gender over another. That is a bias. So developers detect this through XAI tools, realize the gender is influencing decisions and immediately remove it. The same customer is now evaluated only based on income, credit history, and the repayment ability, not a personal identity. So this makes the system fair to everyone. The third one is accountability, which means knowing who or what is responsible. So now the most critical part, accountability. Let's say a self-driving auto car meets with an accident. The question is, who is responsible? So was it camera sensor that failed to detect a pedestrian? Was it a bug in the software, or there was AI model biased or poorly trained? With explainable AI, we can trace the bug at the exact cause. It doesn't just give the result. It keeps a record how and why it made the decision. So this helps us assign responsibility. This is especially important for legal and safety reasons. So students, we have completed our first introduction part of explainable AI. Let's quickly recap. So black box problem, why AI decisions are hidden. Then goals, which means that we saw transparency, trust, fairness, accountability, performance. And the third one is history, from rule-based system to deep learning to XI. Purpose, to make AI understandable, ethical, and reliable. So examples, loan, medical, and facial recognition cases. So in our next class, we will explore. So in our next class, we will explore the types of explanations and XAI techniques used before and after model training. So thank you for listening. Keep watching.